don't you do a role play on me? Are you open to that? Like I'm the prospect. I open the door and you say, so let's start with that. I want everybody to hear this. I think this is magical. So you knock on the door. Hello. Huh?
Yeah. Are you the homeowner here?
Yeah. We're the homeowners. Yeah. What's going on?
So my apologies. I'm just Joseph. I was wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment. Not sure if you get.
Well,
yeah. I don't know if you guys know what's going on or if you guys speak with your neighbors or not, but here it's actually easier if I show you, and then I'll like transition to the side. Can they see this?
Yeah. They can see that. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I'll have that pulled up. Maybe you could help me out for a sec, and then you could leverage that a lot. But I'll stay detached. Like, hey, are you the homeowner here? Okay, perfect.
Yeah. I'm the homeowner. Yeah. What's going on?
Yeah. I'm just Joseph, and I apologize. I can't stay long. I got an appointment I got to get to, but real quick, maybe you could help me out. I'm not sure if you know what's going on. Easier if I show you. Transition to the side. Okay. These are your neighbors here. This is your house here. All these people, they buy their electricity from us, not Nevada Power. No, we're not selling solar panels. And then, is it a ridiculous idea if we decided to stop selling solar panels and instead just sell electricity? Is that like a crazy idea?
Yeah.
That's like an opener that I use sometimes.
Okay. And what do they say with that?
They're like, no. Yeah. And then on the doorstep, there's a lot going on. So you have to keep it simple.
Yeah.
I say that question to get like in a two-way dialogue.
Yeah.
And then I say the same thing, just another way. So I'm like, yeah, like I said, not here to bug you about buying panels. If that made sense, you probably would have had it already. Reason we're out here is just to compete with NV Energy. What was like the main reason you chose them to be your electric provider?
And they say, like, oh, we didn't have a choice.
Exactly. Okay. And it's like, are you opposed to people having a choice? Is that like a bad thing?
Yeah.
We're like, no. And then I'll find a couple pain points. My favorite pain point would be like, and when they raise your rates, do you have a choice?
Yeah.
And they're like, no. Yeah. And then I'll say, what type of agreement do you have with your electric provider that allows them to raise your rate and not even need your permission? Are you okay with that? Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
They say no. And then you got to probe deeper. You got to peel all the layers of the onion. Yeah. You say, well, what is it about that you don't agree with exactly?
What don't you agree about that? Okay, so you're probing deeper. So you're helping them find what you're basically doing, Joseph, is you're asking, certain situation and problem awareness questions that allow the prospect to see that they even have a problem, because most people in what you're doing don't realize they even have a problem, right? They just pay you the utility bill. They just think that's the normal thing to do. Everybody pays the utility bill. They don't have a choice. So they don't know what they don't know. So you can't go in there telling them that, because that just goes in one ear out the other. You're asking them questions that allow them to tell themselves that and to create that problem in their mind that I didn't even know there were other options for this. Like I've never thought about this before. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, 100%. And so like I have a tons of solution questions and tons of conscience questions. And in my experience, I get the most traction off of that one. And on the doorstep, I usually do a 2-touch sell. I don't want to, when I first picked up NEPQ, I would go too far on the doorstep to the point where it's like they had to make a decision. And so I had to like learn when to set the appointment and come back. And that took like a little bit. So usually that's enough pain right there.
Yeah.
To get an appointment to stick.
Okay. And at the end, how do you set up the appointment? What are you saying at the end to make sure they stick?
It's like, well, with your permission, Mr. Jones, I'd like to suggest as the next step is that we come back when you and your spouse are here to go through a few of the details on how this might work for you. Because to be frank, I'm not quite sure it would. Would that be appropriate?
Yeah. See what Joseph did there, because he said, to go through a few details with you and your spouse, because to be frank, it might not even work for you. Now, the reason why we've taught him how to ask that is because it disarms the prospect where they don't feel sales pressure. You're admitting that you might not be what they're looking for. Now, do we know that you can help them? Of course. Okay. But we can't be overly biased. We have to be neutral and admitting that we might not be able to help them. That triggers them, because you're coming to them, like you're cold calling them, to be more trusting that, okay, this person's not just here to cram something down my throat. They actually care about what's going on. Okay. So it's all about disarming. We call that the ABDs of selling. Always be disarming, because especially it doesn't matter what you sell. It can be business to consumer, like Joseph is talking about. It can be B2B sales where you're selling to corporations. If you don't learn how to disarm the prospect from the beginning, the prospect tries to get rid of you very, very quickly. And it's through the whole process. When Joseph comes back, it's not like they're completely open. He has to disarm them again throughout the entire process until those panels are installed. They're past the cancellation period. They're happy. He's always disarming to make sure the prospect continues to engage and wants to open up, right? Your thoughts on that?
I think one big thing is at the beginning, he used to make me wear a rubber band, and I had to wear a rubber band anytime I assumed to sell. So we have to get sensitivity back. So I think one thing that will take a little bit of time is asking the question, can I ask why you asked that?
Yeah.
And you need to have that prompting to ask that. So like I remember one time I knocked on the door and I sent you that recording.
Yeah.
And the lady was like, do any of my neighbors have it? Was the question that she asked. Oh. And before I had any of it down, I was like, yeah, a lot of them do it, just rushing with my solution. Right. And then she's like, cool. You got like a card or something? I'm like, what the heck? And then you literally made me pause and you're like, do you know why she asked that? And I'm like, do you know for sure? I'm like, no, I don't. I'm like, crap. So literally the next day I get it. The same neighborhood, different guy. Hey, has any of my neighbors done it? I'm like, yeah, it just depends. Can I ask why you asked that? And then you can find out why they asked that, which is huge. We
definitely have neighbors, a lot of your neighbors that do it, but you must have asked me that for a reason. What's behind that?
Exactly. That right there is how you get under the concern. And with solar, I guess with all products, if you can get under. Yeah. And it doesn't occur to you're the only one that teaches how to do that.
Yeah.
And you have to be listening. You can't be thinking about what you want to say next. You can't be so you're fully present, and you have to have the prompting to be like, you know what? I don't know for sure what they mean by that. I'm going to ask. It just depends. Can I ask that?
Going below the surface, right? 100% of the time. Now, let's say that you knock on the door. Let's talk about a couple objections you get, how you had to overcome those, so everybody can kind of apply that. And once again, people that are watching right now here in the Facebook group, it depends on your industry, your product or service, how we tailor this. It's all in our virtual training courses, NEPQ 2.0, especially our advanced NEPQ 3.0, and then all of it for sure in advanced inner circle. Okay. So Joseph, if you knock on the door, if you knock on the door, I open up the door, and after 30 seconds, I'm like, you know what? We're not really interested in that. How would you respond to that?
So that's not a problem. To be frank, it hasn't been worth being interested in. Too expensive, takes forever to get your money back, doesn't save you that much. This is a little bit different. It might not be for you, and then if I'm selling a PPA, I would say, instead of trying to sell you this $30,000 solar system, we just sell the electricity it produces, and that electricity costs, far less than if you're buying from the power lines. To be frank, though, I don't know enough about you and your situation to know if we could even do that for you. I should probably ask, and then
boom, right into your first situation question. Okay. Yeah. You're addressing their concern. You're not trying to sweep it underneath the rug. You help them. You ask a diffusing question. You're discussing like two people working together. You ask a diffusing question and then stroll right into your first situation question.
Yeah.
How do people typically respond when you do that?
Really good. That one works wonders. There's nothing cooler than training a rep and have him memorize that, and then to have him flip. Yeah. A customer it happened the other day. I got this Spanish kid that I'm training up, and you got those doors that you can't see anything. They look like little BBs and shit, so you can't read anybody. You have no clue, what the heck. And it was with that, and then he literally we worked on it that day, and he literally flipped it. 2 minutes later, we're inside the house getting a copy of the utility bill. So it was cool.
Let's talk about your problem awareness questions. What's one good problem awareness question that we taught you that triggers them to start realize that they actually have a problem that maybe they didn't know they had before you knocked on their door?
Problem awareness, it's well, this is your bill. Obviously we haven't had a choice, so it's not like this is all, front of mind. So like, I'll either do like, what do you like about it? Possibly dislike about it. Or I'm like, okay, well, why, and then probe deeper off that. Like, why that though? Or what bugs you the most about this, if anything? Is another question that I like. I'm looking at these.
So they show you the bill. They show you the rate hikes, I'm assuming. So they show you the bill and just to say, okay, what type of rate hikes have you had from the utility companies over the last 3 months, 6 months, 12 months? Oh, do they probably say, I don't know? Or what would they say to that?
They're like, they don't know. They assume that it goes up. A lot of people just comes out of the account. It's like, okay, cool. How long have you guys been here? Okay, cool. Do you know why that is? Like, okay, cool. It's like, okay, nobody knows. Those things are impossible to understand. And obviously they keep that. Yeah. It's like, what? Anyways, but have you thought about the consequences of somebody else having, 100% control over your electric bill?
Well, and just so you're aware, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, they're going to raise it like 5-6% a year. But over the course of 2 or 3 years, you're paying 20 to 30% more. Do you want to keep doing that? Or would you rather look at something that's possibly better? See, that's a problem awareness question you could ask for your understanding. I haven't even taught you that one yet.
Oh, no, you had it.
See, here you go. I'm teaching you a little few skills here. You've been in there.
For my solar peeps, I want to give them another one. So a lot of a common objection they'll give, like, "Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh, I'm good." Yeah.
It's like, compared to what, right? But don't say that. That won't get you anywhere. But it's like, that's not a problem. To be frank, that's actually exactly why I'm here. Keep in mind, I haven't picked your home yet. A lot of people we can't even help. This would just give you the ability to own your power for less than what you're paying now, so you don't have to pay an electric bill for the rest of your life. Yeah. Now, I'm not sure if I could do that for you. I should probably ask. Boom. And then
how do people react to that when you do that?
Oh, you flip them. It's unbelievable. Yeah. So there's a lot of
disagree with their objection. So on the doors, it's a little bit different than if you're, cold calling B2B, or if you're have an inbound lead or an outbound lead and they have that same type of concern. On the doors, you have to be very, very quick. Okay. Even like on a cold call, but especially on the doors, and you almost have to agree with their objection and then tell them that's why you're there. Right. Okay. Let's talk about the solution awareness question. I'm not going to have you give everybody your solution awareness questions that we've written out for your industry, obviously, that we're training you in, right? Because you paid for all that. But what's a good solution awareness question you ask, and why do you ask it, I guess?
The solution question I like would be, suppose for a moment this ended up working out for you like it did your neighbor John, and we were able to permanently lower your electric bill and save you around 15, 20 grand over the next, 10, 15 years. What would that do for you personally to be able to do that?
Yeah. And how do they respond to that?
That one's really good. A lot of traction on that one. They see the future. They see themselves in the future experiencing the benefits of it.
Yeah. So it's like you're getting them solution awareness questions in NEPQ, get the prospect to start seeing what their future is going to look like once all of these problems that you've helped them find are actually solved, right? So here's their current situation. We call that their current state. Here's where they want to be, like their future. We call that their objective state. Now, what's the gap in the middle? All of these problems that your questions that you're learning to ask, okay, these advanced questions are causing them to feel and view in their mind that they have that maybe they didn't even understand they had before you started talking to them. The bigger that gap, based on your question skills, which you can learn all of that in our NPQ virtual training courses like Joseph has, the more likely they are to make that sale, like very high chance. Now, the smaller the gap, because you don't have those questions, you don't have advanced questions, you don't understand the tonality to use that and clarify and probe and help them relive the pain, then it starts to look like just another bill. And that's where they try to get rid of you very quickly. It's a big, massive difference. Your thoughts?
Yeah, exactly. So like in solar, like a lot of the design softwares, the proposals will do the comparison 1 over 25 years. That's too far out. That doesn't really hit home. So I like to break it down over 10 years. It's like, look, not trying to offend you when I ask you this, because I've enjoyed our conversation. Have you thought about how much money will literally come out of your pocket just for the next like 5-10 years? And then it's like, well, the next 10 years, it'll be $21,873. And that's if you have an average bill of like $137. Like, I'm not saying we can yet, but if suppose from what this was to work out, instead of 21, whatever coming out of your pocket, it would be this, So it's like,
it would be this. And then after 25 years, you won't even have a bill at that point. So it's like, and I think you give an analogy that we've tried to do. So it's like owning or renting your house. Somebody that rents their house has to pay the rent for how long? Forever, right? Somebody who owns their house are paying for it a certain amount of time, just like solar. And then once it's paid off, they no longer have a mortgage payment. That money becomes theirs. You see the difference between renting your power instead of owning the power?
Yeah. It's like, what would I have to say to you to convince you to go back and rent your house?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. What did they say with that?
They're like, oh, it's like the first, you have to, just like you always taught me, coach, like you have to ask the question. It's only through a question that will get them to see it differently. Telling is not selling.
Yeah.
You have to use neutral languaging. You have to be detached. And if that's there, you'll have a right feel. You're not going to be getting in these power struggles.
Yeah, 100%. So that's a consequence question that we try to ask. There's other consequence questions that you would ask around that as well, but I wanted them to hear that. So then you kind of run through your presentation. How have you structured your presentation where it emotionally connects the dots with the prospect rather than just talking about features and benefits and they zone out?
Yeah, it's like how do you see the advantages of, or what resonates with you the most? Or how do you see the advantages of this, if anything? Mm-hmm. Or how do you, like, if at that point, I usually know if it's going to be like a PPA or a lease.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool. So like, obviously you own the house here, the 2 cars in your driveway, those aren't rented. So it's like, I guess, like, how do you see the advantages of owning versus renting when it comes to your electricity?
Yeah. 100%. That's a good point, right? And they say what? How do they respond to that?
Oh, they're like, everything that you previously told them, like, oh, I can own it. You're in control. Okay. So that's important to you then. Okay. Why is it so important to you now though?
Yeah. So that's urgency in their mind of why it's so important for them to do now, right? So you do get far less, I want to think it over, or I need to keep looking around. Let's get into the commitment stage of the process. Like I said, I'm just having you give a few little nibbles, little hors d'oeuvres of what we taught you. I'm not going to give away the farm. This is all in our virtual training for any industry, any product, any service. Doesn't matter what you sell. We train hundreds of different industries at this point. Joseph's being one of those as well. What's a commitment question that we've taught you how to use, and then why do you use it?
I like my 2 favorites, and one isn't even a commitment question, but I've kind of turned it into one a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's the at the end, I'm like, we need to get going, but just up to this point, it's a check-in question technically. Do you feel comfortable with what we've covered just up to this point? And they'll be like, yeah, but then I'll probe deeper on that. I'm like, why though? Can I ask why you feel comfortable though?
Yeah.
And they tell you every hot button right there. And then my favorite one is do you feel like this is something you can do that will get you what you're wanting?
Yeah. Do you feel like this is something you can really put in the home to really get you where you're wanting to go? Or it can be, do you feel like this could be the answer for you so you can save that money, right? You're attaching the benefit of what they said they wanted to the commitment question, okay? Rather than saying, when do you want to take delivery? Tuesday at 4 or Wednesday at 5, right? You don't want to assume there, okay? It's very, very important. Now, how do your prospects react to you when you use those commitment questions?
Amazing. I've only had one person after that point give me any still object when it comes to signing.
Yeah.
And I balked you, and you say, ask him this. You go, how are you going to save money every single month unless you go solar? And I said that, and there was about a 3-second pause, and he goes, you're right. And then he kept signing.
So how are you going to, save on your monthly bill if you keep paying the utilities that keep going up 5 to 6% every year? So it's like almost like a consequence question at the end, right? That helps them. And they're like, oh yeah, that's right. Like, how can I? There's no way I can when they think about it. So it's a no-brainer for them to want to move forward at that time. Joseph, go ahead.
You don't have to get rid of your electric bill if you don't want to. Your bills aren't that much anyways. I mean, I guess you can pay that every single month first if that's what you want.
You don't have to get rid of the bill if you don't want to. I mean, it's not like you're paying millions of dollars a month. It just depends.
Obviously, with electricity, what makes the most sense? Pay less now, eventually not have a bill, or pay what you're paying now, and anyways. But the questions are huge. The tonality is huge. Staying detached is huge. Your voice, your tonality. And then listening, you got to record it and you got to listen, because you got to get under their concern, and they'll resolve their own concerns, but you need to know when to ask that.
Yeah.
And that takes some listening and practicing and working on your craft.
That's right.
Being willing to do what others aren't willing to do, coach.
Right. It's just learning the right skill level, which we teach in our virtual training courses. Like obviously you've gone through, you're in the advanced inner circle, and then just going out and using it. And that took you from, 10, 15 grand a month in commissions, which was definitely good, all the way up to 80 grand a month in commissions, which is a whole different ball game. How's your life changed a little bit now?
Oh my heck. You used to dread going on the doors. You used to dread it when they hear something, and now it's fun. It's lighthearted. I sincerely enjoy it. It's cool. It keeps me on point to the doors. The doors will let you know if you're out of shape, if you're not sharp, it'll expose you. So, but no, as far as life, my God, and then communication in general, I catch myself not assuming I understand what they actually mean, and you look smarter. You get an actual layout of the land. You can see how they see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, which is everything. And the trust, they literally compliment you. They literally compliment you, zero pressure. You know more about their situation than anybody. Yeah. And they view you as a trusted expert. There's just not that resistance. It's a cool thing.
Drastically reduces the sales resistance. So people become open and they want to engage. And when you're asking questions, it's like you're taking a knife and cutting through half melted butter. It just becomes easy. They want to engage. They want to open up. They're not just staying surface level with you, because if you don't know the right questions to ask, where they're allowing you to, and they're opening up, all you're going to get is at the very end, you're just going to get logical based answers. And they're going to say, well, I need to keep shopping around. This sounds good. I need to think it over. I need to talk with my spouse. And you're going to continually fight objections all the time and probably lose most of those deals that people like Joseph and our clients are making every single day. And it doesn't matter the industry, the product or service, it's all the same. Any last words of advice you'd like to give everybody?
Don't take counsel from your peers, man. Go do it. Yeah.
Just go do it. Learn the right skills. Selling becomes pretty easy and extremely profitable. And so much profitable, you can even buy John Deere hats like Joseph.
Let's get a plug for John Deere. Nothing wrong like a deer.
John Deere. Joseph is John Deere is his official sponsor now. I love it, man.
That's hilarious.
Hey, I want to thank you. I know you're right in the middle of the workday, so I know you came back to your hotel room. I know you're out somewhere where you're at, Central California or something.
Yeah, the Apple Valley area.
Yeah, you're out selling a solar blitz with your team this week, crushing the deals. I'm sure you're going to make a lot of money. You'll have to post about it here at the end of the week. I'm sure everybody want to know how much money you made.
Forget it.
All right. So guys, if you want to learn more skills like this, you want to learn, kind of what we train Joseph and all of our other clients in any industry, any product or service, in the comment section. If you want to start getting those type of results, in the comment section, just post #NEPQ. Anthony said, just started 2.0 a couple of days ago. This is so sweet to see. Well done, Anthony. You're just barely starting your journey, my man. But in the comment section, post #NEPQ, either myself or Marco Cortese, who is our Chief Revenue Officer. He's the cool guy that looks really cool, like the model. Or Matt Ryder, our CEO. We'll message you more details to see if we can help you as well. All right, Joseph, I'll let you get back to work.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I love how much value you add. Seriously, it's been so life-changing for me. I love it. From bottom up, real. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Post at the end of the week how many sales you did and what type of money you made. Everybody's going to want to know.
All right, done. I'll keep you posted.
See you guys then. Hey guys, if you enjoyed these, here's another you can watch right over here. Join our free Sales Revolution group. Click the link below, join us, and we're going to help you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you real soon.